Okay, I'd like to remind everyone to please make sure that all cell phones are turned to the off or vibrate position. Also, please be advised that our city council meetings are broadcast on Comcast Channel 99, AT&T UVerse, and the City of Gadsden YouTube channel. This meeting of the Gadsden City Council will now come to order. Chair calls on City Clerk Ivor Nelson for the roll call.
Good morning. President Tolles is absent today, and so our meeting is being chaired by President Pro Tem Councilman Reed. I'll start the roll call with Councilman Williams.
Here.
Worthy.
Here.
Back.
Here.
Wilson.
Here.
Cannon.
Here.
And Reed.
Here.
We have a quorum present and our meeting is open for business. I'm going to ask Heath Williamson to lead the invocation. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. The many blessings you provide freely, Father. We thank you for salvation most of all. Thank you for the impending holidays, Father, with all the family and friends and the get-togethers. Lord, I pray and ask that your blessings are on that. Also, first and foremost, Father, we pray for your blessings here. Give us the wisdom, guidance, knowledge, and discernment to go forward in the way that's right in your eyes and pleasing to you always. May we bring you honor and glory with all that's said and done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, under number 5, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the Human Relations Advisory Committee work session city council meeting held on November 9th.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to approve minutes.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to ratify payment of accounts for the week of November 5th through the 11th.
So moved. Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote, please?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts.
Proclamations, Mayor? None. Okay, under unfinished business, we have an ordinance amending City Code Section 58-6. This ordinance was presented last week for the first reading. It clarifies that the appeal process for denial of a certificate of appropriation is by the Historic Preservation Commission or Architectural Board in the Historic District is in court, Circuit Court, excuse me. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Okay, clerk, would you take the vote, please?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Okay, number 9 on the public hearings. This is the time and place as advertised to conduct a public hearing, allowing anyone to speak in opposition to or in favor of a resolution ordering abatement of nuisance on property located at 2409 James Street in District 1. Louis Jeffrey, Curtis Jeffrey III, Alejandro Jeffrey, Louise Jeffrey, and others, and Kevin Joel Garrett being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this ordinance? Anybody in the opposition? Anyone in favor?
Mr. President, I'm Brian Harbison with the Building Department. We filed this case in July of last year. There's been no improvements. There are no permits to improve. We're asking today for a resolution to abate this nuisance.
Anybody else in favor? Okay, what's the pleasure of the council?
Move to abate. Second.
Okay. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisance on property located at 1404 Fillmore Avenue in District 5. Alan Hope and Debbie Hope being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Come forward, please.
Yes, sir. I've been working on the house. I pretty much got it remodeled on the inside. I've repaneled it all the way through. I like putting the 2 bedrooms. I got to put sheetrock overhead in one of the bedrooms, linoleum stuff in the 2 bedrooms. And I got to sit back getting the house wired. I've been working on the house. I've also been having to take care of my mother. She had dementia. I lost my brother like this about last year. I lost my brother, and then 7 months later, I lost my mother. I'm also having to work on trying to get rid of my mother's house emptied out. It's about trying to sell it and trying to come up with money to try to get the house wired and all. I mean, I'm doing everything I can do. I draw a disability check, so it makes it kind of hard.
Mr. Hope, just for the record here, when we talk about nuisance abatements, there are some issues, I guess, on the inside of the house that are a concern, but overwhelmingly, the nuisance abatement addresses the exterior of the property, not the interior. So,
I mean, the outside of the house has got vinyl siding on it.
I'm just explaining to you, we don't really care about the inside. We care about the outside, and that's what's being acted on today. And so what I would encourage you to do is, at the end of this meeting, regardless of the outcome, I don't know if you've had a chance to speak directly with Mr. Harbison about the specific things that you need to address on the outside that would prevent us from taking further action on it. But if you want to have a seat, and when Mr. Harbison speaks, afterwards you can follow up with him and figure out specifically what it is on the outside of the property that needs to be addressed.
Okay, well, like I said, I'm doing everything I can do to try to get the house fixed up.
Yes, sir.
You know, in my knowledge.
Yes, sir. I just want you to focus that laser beam where it's most effective. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I know you're working hard on the inside, but if we can address some of these issues on the outside, it may fix all your problems as it relates to a nuisance abatement. You know?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Is there anybody else in opposition? Anybody in favor?
Mr. President, we filed this case in March of last year. Actually, we were called to the scene by Etowah County DTF. There have been no improvements as far as we know. This is the first I've heard from a representative of the owner today. There was a building permit taken out in March of 2020. We would ask a resolution be passed to abate the nuisance. I'll be glad to meet the owner out there. Typically, the issues do stem from the exterior. This particular case was all interior.
Okay.
So, number of animals and other instances. So, we're asking for a resolution. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else in favor? What's the pleasure of the council? Did you? I didn't see one.
Ma'am, did you want to speak?
I just know that he's doing a lot of work over there, and he'll be glad to do anything I want him to do.
That would be in opposition. Okay. Anybody else in favor? Okay. What's the pleasure of the council?
Is there a chance we could give him 30 days? I would request that we table this for 30 days to give him an opportunity.
He'd ask if he'd do it 30 days.
Do you think, what do you think is a realistic timeline?
I don't know what all's got to be done on the outside for sure.
Well, as Mr. Harbison just clarified, normally it is about the outside, but in your case, he said there are some specific concerns with the inside. Particularly, I guess there was some animals that were inside the home that weren't. So let's, if it's okay with you, I'm going to table this thing for 30 days, give you some time to speak directly with Mr. Harbison. He can meet you on site. And just know, though, that if there's no progress or if we're not addressing the issues after 30 days, we will move to abate the property. Okay? All right. I would ask that we table this for 30 days.
Second.
Okay. Clerk, would you take the vote, please?
Those in favor to table the resolution for 30 days, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to table for 30 days.
Okay, under number 11, our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement on nuisance on property located at 1610 Main Street in District 5. The State of Alabama Rights of Redemption, Kevjack LLC, Jonna Cranford being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Janae Cranford, and we just got the tax certificate on this house recently. So whatever needs to be done, I'm willing to do it. Just meet with me after and let me know. Okay? That's it.
Okay. Anybody else in opposition? All those in favor, please.
Mr. President, we filed this case in July of 2020. There have been no improvements, no permits to improve, and we're asking today for a resolution to abate this nuisance.
Okay.
Brian, are you aware, she said they just got the tax deed on the house. Are they new owners, I guess?
It's not a deed, it's a certificate. I'll get the deed, and I think it's marked when it's available.
But did you guys just acquire the property recently? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, in the last couple of months.
We paid the taxes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's gonna be 3 years. It's,
Well, the
they
right
just-
of redemption, they'll get a tax deed earlier than
Yeah, it's March or May of 22. that I'll get the deed.
So do you guys have a construction plan for the property, or?
Our plan, yes, is, well, I was waiting until it switched over to a deed, because with it being a certificate, I only get, like, if they were to come back and try to get the house back, I only get my money back for certain things.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that.
Okay, so I was waiting until it turned into a deed, but I can do whatever needs to be done, and whatever he tells me, I'll do it.
that. You get reimbursed for any improvements,
Any?
so
Okay.
keep up with your receipts.
Okay.
I'm going to ask that we table this for 30 days as well, but I'm also going to make a blanket statement to everybody in District 5. When you guys get these notifications, please reach out to me beforehand, because I haven't heard from either one of you guys, and when, as a typical rule, I default to the judgment of our building department, and if they say that we need to abate the nuisance, I'm going to follow that 9 times out of 10, or 8 times out of 10 in this case. But I am going to ask for a 30-day table on this to give you an opportunity to meet with Mr. Harbison and put together a quick action plan to get this thing where it needs to be, since you just now acquired it.
Second.
Okay. Have a motion, a second, 30-day table. Clerk, would you take the vote, please?
Those in favor to table the resolution for 30 days, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to table for 30 days.
Okay, number 12, our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisance on property located at 1409 Charles Street in District 7. Jeffrey Simmons and Sharon Simmons being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution?
Think nobody complain about them.
In opposition? Okay, anybody in favor?
Mr. President, this case involves a burned mobile home. We filed the paperwork in September of 2020. There have been no improvements. There are no permits to improve, and we're asking today for a resolution to abate this nuisance.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the council?
Move to abate.
Second.
Clerk, would you take the vote, please?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Our next public hearing is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisance on property located at 1407 Tuscaloosa Avenue in District 7. Penny Gables and G&M Homes LLC being the last known owners. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? If you would, come forward, please, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I'm Penny Gables. I bought the house in 2018 at the end of the year. A month later, I came home and my house was condemned. And that night, narcotics came, which they didn't find anything. I wasn't doing anything. But I didn't have the house but a month before all this happened. And since then, I got a permit to work on it, and I've been working on it. I came back to see if it needed to be renewed. They told me as long as I was continued working on it, that I didn't need to renew my permit, so I've still been working on it. Everybody that was supposed to help me has backed out, so I'm left to do it by myself. That's right.
Okay, we'll give you time. Is there anything else you would like to add later on? Well, I'm going to say to you this, and you haven't talked to Mr. Harbison, I'm sure. Or you have? Okay. And I don't know how far along y'all got. I do know the house in my district, so I know the place. Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else in favor?
Mr. President, we filed this case in January of 2020. There have been no improvements. There was a permit taken out, no work done on that permit. We're asking today for a resolution to abate the nuisance.
Brian, do we have any stipulations about, I seen where that house had a bunch of different roofing on it. The metal roofing was all different colors. It looks like they're in the front. Whoever put that piece on might need to do a little different. Is that what, the roof on that house, I seen was different colors, the metal was. And there's a piece on the front there that it didn't put on good. You can tell it didn't match up. Was that on the condemnation part of it too, the house, the roof?
Yes, that's part of it, yes.
Can this house be rehabbed? Okay. Since in my district, I'm going to say this, I would go ahead and vote to abate, but I would like for her to get with Mr. Harbison after this to see if there's any way in the world she can rehab that house in a period of time before this happened, since they're so far behind in that anyway. So I'll make the motion to abate.
Second.
Second.
Claire, would you take the vote, please?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
And ma'am, if you would, stay by and talk to Mr. Harbison after the meeting and see where we can go from there, okay? All right. Number 14, our final public hearing is a resolution approving issuance of an alcoholic beverage license. C&J's Crab Shack and Bar LLC has applied for a retail liquor license at 1504 Rainbow Drive in District 4. Anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this resolution? Anybody in favor? What's the pleasure of the council?
Move to adopt. Second.
Okay, Claire, would you take the vote, please?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed,
No.
we have one no. Motion carries to adopt.
Okay, number 15, a resolution authorizing a special use permit to Dish Wireless. This is for installation of their equipment and modifications of existing wireless telecommunication facility located at 540 Clayton Boulevard. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion on it? I would ask, as I did last week, that as they do this service, please clean the place up and make it presentable in an R1 district.
I went to that site after we spoke at the last meeting,
Absolutely.
and the compound itself, which is what we are entailed with, was clean. The location itself, the address, so the property owners are who have the, I guess, the mess. But far as what we do see a best of, we'll only be able to take care of what's inside the fence and the compound of the site.
All right, just a matter of question. Do you know who owns the property at the present time?
I sure don't. It looked like it was some type of, maybe a towing service. I thought it might have been on that sign.
Well, there's been a lot of stuff on it, bowling alleys and everything in the world, but
Okay.
the bad thing, we'll go further with it, and I appreciate that information.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, clerk, would you take the vote, please?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, Motion carries to adopt.
Number 16 is a resolution authorizing agreement to purchase property located at the intersection of Macon Boulevard and Hood Avenue. This is to facilitate improvements on the ALDOT project in the amount of $20,000. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
In discussion, clerk, would you take the vote, please?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Number 17 is a resolution authorizing agreement with CDG Engineers and Associates, Inc. This is for the construction, engineering, and inspection services for the reconstruction of South 11th Street from Black Creek Parkway to the bridge at Black Creek. The amount is $182,980. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Let's get it done.
None. Clerk, take the vote for Jason.
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Okay. Number 18, are there any new business?
Yes, Mr. President. I have one. This is from the Revenue Department. This is a resolution approving the issuance of a special event alcoholic beverage license. I'd ask for us to suspend the rules for immediate consideration as the event is actually scheduled for this Friday. Again, the applicants submitted their paperwork in a timely manner several weeks ago, and there was some sort of filing error that caused it to be lost in the process for a few weeks. So this was an administrative error on our part. So I'm asking us to suspend the rules and consider this so they can hold the event at the Pittman.
Second.
Okay, clerk, would you take the vote?
Those in favor to consider the resolution today as an item of new business, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, consent has been granted.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Okay. Clerk, would you take the vote, please?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed,
No.
we have one no. Motion carries to adopt.
Okay. Number 19, department reports, committees, boards, and so on. Do we have any? Yes, we have Mr. Mike Hilton from Public Works.
Good morning, Council, Mayor. I just want to give you a quick update with what's going on a little bit in Public Works. We are currently exiting our grass cutting season, although for the next couple of months we still will have a couple machines that are working some right-of-way issues. And we are moving into leaf season. We currently have 3 leaf machines that are running. We have a couple more that are available as we get employees to move into those machines as things progress. We'd like to talk with the citizens, your folks, and ask them to please, when they're working and putting leaves out on the shoulder to be picked up, please do not put the leaves on top of an inlet or into a ditch where it's going to stop up a pipe. Sometimes it can take us a little while to get to these piles of leaves to get these things up, and as we know, rain's coming, and so we want to prohibit any leaf being on top of an inlet or in front of a pipe that would cause flooding, if at all possible. Bear with us with the machines running like they are and everybody kind of getting their leaves up at one time. Sometimes it takes us a little while to get there. Thanksgiving's next week. We clearly won't be everywhere in Gadsden by next week, so we'll be working on leaves until probably first part of February, maybe the middle of February, and at that point we'll have everything up. I would also like to say that when we're running a leaf machine, we're picking up piles of leaves where residents have either paid for or got themselves out there and raked the leaves up or blew the leaves up into a big pile. That's what we're picking up with leaf machines. As the season comes to a close, we will go back and run what's fallen into the gutters or what's fallen into the ditch. But during the normal process of the first 2 or 3 months, we're just picking up piles. So bear with us, and we'll get all these things up in the next couple of months. And if you have questions, I'd love to entertain those. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, number 20, citizen request. We have Mr. Buster Porch, Community Thanksgiving Lunch. And Mr. Porch has 5 minutes.
All right, I will put him on the call. The attorney speaks. Good morning, Mayor, Council. It is that time again, a year. You know, last year the virus said no. Well, we're saying yes this year. So I'm here this morning with Craig Scott, you know him well. He's a member of the executive board. I'll give it to you, Scott.
Very good. Appreciate it, Buster. So, Mayor, Council, as Buster said, as Mike said, next week is Thanksgiving. So Community Thanksgiving, which is our 23rd year, is in full gear. We are in planning mode, and next week we go into action mode. So volunteers are needed on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday over at the venue. On Thursday, we'll be serving free meals to anyone who needs a good Thanksgiving meal, beginning at 10 in the morning, and we'll run until we're out. We expect that'll be about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so from 10 to 2. We also wanted to, the board, all of our committee chairs wanted to thank you, council and the mayor, for your contribution and your donation. We greatly appreciate that. Our budget this year is $30,000. We're about at $25,000 right now, and so we're asking the community to consider a donation to us. You can go to our Facebook page. That's Community Thanksgiving Celebration on Facebook, and all the information's there. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to remind that volunteers and donation, it's never too late for donation, because any donation that's left over for this year will be used for the celebration for 2022. So if you think it's too late to donate, it is never too late to donate. And volunteers, there's always room for volunteers. We start Monday. I have a flyer here. Anybody need one? Please join us for our annual Community Thanksgiving celebration. There's no cost. Everyone is invited from 10 a.m. till 2. If you need delivery, we have delivery service. Delivery and our transportation needs. I have a phone number, and I'll pass out this flyer to anyone that need it. The phone number is 256-459-5255. I repeat, 256-459-5255. And there's information on this flyer for volunteering, and not only this, but volunteers are needed. And I think the council and the mayor would tell you there's lot of organization that have throughout the city that's in need. I'm on several boards, and there's always a need for volunteers there. So if you want to start volunteer to get it into your system, this is the time. The Community Thanksgiving celebration. That's Thursday, November 25, 10 a.m. Volunteers start Monday, so come out and volunteer. It's always time. There's never think there's too many volunteers. We can always find something for you to do. Come on out Thursday. Thank you so very.
Okay, under number 21, remarks by the mayor and the council. Councilman Cannon.
Yes, I'd just like to say quickly here that today we had a complaint by a citizen. He's in the audience today about a pickup truck yesterday that nearly hit him head on. I encourage all the city drivers to please stay off these things right here while you're driving. Drive safely. He got the tag number and he's turned it in. And he turned it into the mayor today, and the mayor could have a little talk with that gentleman, please. If you don't mind, Chairman, today. And that's all I have.
Okay, Councilman Wilson.
Yeah, just real quick, I want to clarify one of the first actions we took today was to amend the city code concerning historic and architectural review processes. Just to be clear, what that is in the historic districts, if there's a certificate of appropriateness necessary, if you want to make repairs to a home in the historic property, you have to get approval from the Architectural Review Board of that historical district before you can move forward with it. So if for some reason you were denied your request and there's a laundry list of reasons why that request would be denied, you can go to circuit court and ask a judge in the circuit court to overrule that denial. That's the way we've always done it. It just wasn't written in the code that way, so we just updated the code to add that language to clarify it. It didn't really change anything about the way those historical review boards operate. The other thing, Ms. Gables, I just want to apologize to you. I know that's a tough situation, and if there's anything I can personally do to help, it looks like you've got a lot of work on your hands over there, and I don't really see how you're going to be able to do it by yourself. But if there's any way I can help or try to rally up some people in the community to help you, I'll be more than happy to. But please make sure you follow back up with Brian Harbison, and he can tell you exactly what needs to be done, and then we can see whether we can get it done or not. CDG engineers, the last thing we approved there on the regular business, that is for all the architectural and engineering stuff for South 11th Street. A lot of people for the last 3 years have been talking about how terrible shape South 11th Street is. And I'm going to stop short of calling any particular citizen to the carpet, but I just want everybody in this community to know there is one individual that is held out from selling the city a small piece of right-of-way so that we could add a new sidewalk all the way down South 11th Street for all those students leaving Gadsden City High School. And that's the reason this project is drug out. And I just want to say thank you to the engineering department for being diligent with this and getting it moving forward. And we will have that thing paved soon. And this is one of the final steps to make that happen. I'll also take a chance to mention, because of my own personal experience with city vehicles, I too, about a week ago, had an incident with a city vehicle where they were driving, I would say, somewhat recklessly, and it almost caused an accident. I witnessed it firsthand. So please, every single employee of this city, realize that you're driving a city vehicle with a City of Gadsden logo on the side of it, and your driving habits reflect on this entire city. If the citizens are expected to follow the rules of the road, you guys have to follow the rules of the road too. So I would encourage all of those city employees to take that into consideration. I know you got a lot to do and a lot of places to go, but that's no excuses. Nobody's above the law. Let's see. Also, this is something that I think is really important. Mike Hilton mentioned this from the Public Works Department, and I just want to hammer this home. Everybody in this community complains about our sewerage and our drainage issues, and that's right. We do have a lot of issues to fix, but what compounds those problems exponentially is when you rake up all the leaves in your yard and you don't want to put them on that little 3-foot section of right-of-way right out there, because you probably take care of that grass and you want your lawn to look good. But when you dump all those leaves down into the curb, into the actual gutter system, and it rains, they go straight into those drainage ports on your street. So if you're wondering why you see these giant backups on the stormwater drains, 9 times out of 10, it's because there's cardboard boxes, there's garbage, there's leaves, there's tree limbs that have been put out on the road, not on that little section up above the curb, and it just makes the problem that much worse. So please consider designating one little spot of the right-of-way there up off of the curb where you can pile your leaves up so that the city Public Works Department can still pick them up, but they don't go down the drain every time it rains. And the last thing, I'll take a point of, well, one more thing on the community Thanksgiving. Make sure you go to the Facebook page, community-Thanksgiving-celebration. You can make financial donations and sign up to volunteer there. But just go to Facebook, community-Thanksgiving-celebration. And the final thing is, I'll take a point of personal privilege here to say, even though we don't have any direct authority over the Gadsden Airport Authority, it's my understanding that they'll be considering the sale or lease of the property to Pilgrim's Pride in the coming week, this week. And I just ask that all of those individuals consider very strongly the future of this community. I know several of the members of that board are in different stages of their career, and some of them are approaching retirement, and some of them may have plans to not live in Gadsden any longer. I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. And there's a lot of people that are going to be here for a long time after this decision. So please consider, there's a great proverb that says, true leadership is planting trees for which the shade you will never sit under. We plant trees and we make decisions knowing that they're going to affect the future citizens of this community for decades to come. And I just ask that every member of that Gadsden Airport Authority please consider strongly the long-term impacts that decision will have on this community and people like me that plan to spend the next 40, 50 years of my life here. So thank you. That's all I have.
Councilman Worthy.
Well, yes, thank you, Mr. President, today. I just want to say thank you to the board for the community Thanksgiving dinner that they do every year. Thank you for what you all do, because it's definitely a need in the city, in the county, for it, especially during these hard times, the coronavirus and everything else. So that'll be on Thanksgiving Day. And then I would like to make an announcement. We will have our community Thanksgiving dinner this Saturday at Carver Community Center from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. until we run out. It'll probably be around that time. So, and I want to thank Tanya Baker. She moved away, but she flew back in just to cook. So I really want to thank her, and that says a lot about her character and the love of her city and her community. Everybody is welcome to come. You don't have to just live in the Carver, Tuscaloosa Avenue area. You could come from anywhere, as long as you live in the city. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President. So just a couple quick points. Just a message to many of the property owners, in particular those who may not have some clarity as it relates to a few things. I'll just highlight there's a lot of responsibility that comes with being a property owner. Two things that just kind of jump out, especially if you're either buying new property or speculating with investment properties. Make sure you pay your taxes, and remember that the dwelling has to be in a physical condition that meets the building code. So often there are two groups that come before us. Generally they are heirs to property that they didn't own but have inherited, or new purchasers, whether it be through tax sales or through just an outright purchase, who aren't necessarily always aware of those two responsibilities, that they have to pay the taxes. You'd be shocked at the number of times that we run into heirs or encounter heirs who inherit Mud Deer's property and forget that it's their responsibility to pay the taxes. And so please remember that. Also, please remember that a dwelling has to be brought up to code. And when you purchase a piece of property, you purchase not only the property and the title to that or the deed to that property, but you also encounter and purchase any liabilities associated with that property as well. And that's inclusive of the responsibility to bring it up to code. Again, so often Mr. Harbison in the building department encounter those types of scenarios. People purchase that property and then don't realize, oh my goodness, there's a nuisance abatement case open against this property. And so again, please be mindful of that. And when you purchase those things and you encounter those liability scenarios, sometimes they can be daunting. And it's why many times you see these elected officials point to Mr. Harbison, because it's with the building department that you can get some clarity on what needs to happen in order to bring it up to code. And trust me, with the state of our housing stock, the city is not interested in demolishing homes. We're more interested in them being brought up to code and somebody living in them. And so what's really important to us is that we just make sure you understand, and all you have to do is ask for time. I think that's been demonstrated time after time after time after time. When an individual comes up and asks for time, when they're genuine about needing additional time to bring a house up to code, then they're granted that time. Now, unfortunately, what the city can't always do is provide resources for you to bring a house up to code. They can't pay your contractor. They can't provide supplies. They can't, that's something that's just not feasible for most municipalities to do. But time can be granted to help you bring those homes up to code. And so again, just a couple of points to note. I know it's very easy to blame a municipality when you have these very negative and very sad scenarios presented. But more often than not, the city wasn't responsible for the house getting in the condition that it got in. And the city's just trying to help that individual, whomever the owner may be at that time, to kind of right the ship and get the house back up to code. Most of what Mr. Harbison deals with is not through him riding around or his department riding around and identifying properties. The vast majority of it is people picking up the phone and calling, saying, "I'm tired of looking at what's down the street. Can you come do something about it?" That's where the vast majority of these cases come from. So again, just please be mindful of that as we draw our opinions about a lot of the nuisance cases. We just want the houses up to code, and again, we'll do anything to support. We'll do anything to support a property owner in helping them to get there. The last couple things, the community event. Thank you, Mr. Porch, for what you presented today. It's really good to see that event, taking place this year. As is always the case, each of these council members contribute financially. The vast majority of them also contribute with their time. And something that I'll recommend is what I did with my kids when they were younger, and it's what I do with my grandkids now. There are a lot of elderly people. In the beginning, I was of the impression that it's mostly elderly people who are at home and don't have food or don't have access to food that we need to help. Guys, what I find every year is that building, that venue is packed full of people, elderly or otherwise, who need both the social interaction and the food. And it's a lot bigger of an issue than we often realize. And so please go out and support. I take my grandkids now to do deliveries because those little bitty faces do wonders during the holiday season for an elderly person who wouldn't otherwise get any visitors. And so if you've got little ones, if you've got young people, I used to take my teenage daughters out as well because it gave them the opportunity to see what it meant to help somebody else. And Lord knows our young people need to see that in action nowadays so that they'll know how to do it later. So I want to encourage that, want to challenge people. Take your kids out and let them support. The beauty of that event is there are generally, even though Mr. Port says they always need volunteers, they do. But one of the beauties is we always run out of meals to deliver. We always reach a point where we've got more volunteers for deliveries than we have meals, or at least the last couple of years, that's what I've witnessed. And that's a beautiful thing because that shows that the community is really responding and really supporting. But don't let that stop you. To his point, come out. There's always something for volunteers to do. There's definitely something for volunteers to do. Lastly, veterans. Veterans Day was on the 11th. I know we said a little bit about veterans last week, but thanks to the folks who organized and put on the parade and the various events, whether it be a school or a community, thank you so much for recognizing those who serve the U.S. Army. And the U.S. military in whatever branch they serve. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Back.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I want to reiterate what's already been said. Thanks for the community Thanksgiving people, Mr. Porch and Craig Scott, and the large group of volunteers that are on that board. That's just that's a real shining light for our community, and it means so much to so many people. Really glad to see it back this year. Thanks to all that support it financially and also in volunteering. Want to continue talking about Rainbow Drive. I want to thank Barbara Condra and Representative Gil Lisbell. They worked the phones in Montgomery, and there is now new asphalt on Rainbow Drive, and it seems to be, I think, the last 2 nights in a row they've been laying asphalt. So hope the weather cooperates and they can finish that. I think about 40,000 cars a day go up and down Rainbow Drive, and it's just been a nightmare. And so, but now it's getting fixed. So thanks to the ones that have brought that to the attention of the powers that can make that happen. Also, the Patriots Association last week, a wonderful program that they always put on, and again, thanks to our veterans and thanks to those that were honored last Tuesday. That's really, it looked like a full house was there. There was a lot of people, and there was some well-deserved thanks going around, so just hats off to those folks. Last but not least, we've talked about pink garbage cans, and that is now going to happen. You'll see on social media and on the city website and on the Never Surrender website that you can order the cans. There's a hard cost of the cans to the city. It's about $70, so anything over $70 will go to Never Surrender. We're suggesting $95 to purchase the can. You will own that can. It won't belong to the city. So you're responsible for that can, and so there's information on the order form that goes into a little more detail. This is a way to support breast cancer awareness. Came to our attention, my attention a few months ago. My wife's a breast cancer survivor, and so we were at a function for the Alabama League of Municipalities, saw it that they were doing it in Montgomery and some other cities. She said we need to do that here, so we are. And thank you to the Never Surrender folks for being willing to help and to do that. You can go to their website to order the cans. You can go right down here in the hall to the garbage department. You can place an order there. You can also go to the revenue department here, and you can place an order there. You have to pay for the can. The order will be made in January. So Mike Hilton was talking earlier that he orders cans once every 2 years to try to get a bulk discount. And so we have until the end of December to order the cans. So please share that with your friends. If you have any neighbors, family members that are cancer survivors, this is a great way to bring awareness. And then on the one side, I think it'll make our neighborhoods look nice to have the cans up and down the street just to show the support for those that have been affected by that. So you've got Never Surrender, the garbage department here at City Hall, and the revenue department where you can place your order for the cans. You're not limited at $95. If you want to give more money to Never Surrender, that would be wonderful, but that's just the suggested price. We thought we could maybe get more cans out if we kept the price under $100. So I want to thank Lisa Rosser and the folks in the revenue department and in the garbage department, Faye and her folks. This is something new, something different. There's probably going to be a few wrinkles, so please bear with us as we work through those, and just glad that we could do something positive for our community. And that's all I have, Mr. President.
Mayor? You don't have? Well, once again, it made me very proud to be on the board of the Gadsden Patriots Association. I'm going to tell you the number of people in the public, and especially this council and mayor and other entities that got into that is unreal. One of the most patriotic meetings I've been to in a long time. Made you feel real good going out the back and the front. Okay, and I want to thank the Forest Cemetery workers. If you hadn't been through there, we've always said how run down and bad it looks. Go over there now. It's cut, it's trimmed, it's weed-eated, and it looks extremely well. It really does. Okay. Yes, sir.
One other thing. I forgot to say it. Plus, I was just joking. If you live outside the city and you need something to eat, come on, you know. I was just joking there. Anybody could come to our community dinner. But we're only doing to-go plates. Can't sit down inside and eat because of the what's going on. So we're just going to do to-go plates. And hopefully we'll be able to do, if we get some volunteers, to do deliveries, you know, to our elderly. Okay, thank you, that's it.
All right. There being no further business to attend to, I'll ask for adjournment.
So moved.